Hey guys, welcome back to Tuesday's night live stream, and have I got a doozy for you. First, first thing is first, I definitely want to thank each and every single one of my viewers out here for getting a chance to check out my videos. I definitely do appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Huge shout out to all my viewers. Also, big shout out to all my subscribers, and last but not least, I saved the best for last. I definitely want to give a huge shout out also to all my moderators here on the channel. But with that being said, I definitely do have my live chats open. So if you guys would like to participate, jump into the live stream if you're not already here. If you're not already here, you guys can check that out as well. So for today's live stream, this is basically going to be a part 1 tutorial. So and this tutorial is basically going to be how to reseal a glass jar. So without further ado, let's dive on into it. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is, if you have a lid like this and you have it sitting on the jar, and you can basically, I'm going to put it up to the microphone so you can actually hear it. So if you can actually get a lid like this and it's on the jar and you hear this, that's the type of lid you're going to want. So second of all, always make sure that your jar is clean inside and out. You can basically put your jars in boiling water to sterilize them. So, and if and when you do happen to put any type of liquid in here and you want to reseal your jar, make sure that the liquid content that you're putting in it is at almost a boiling point. So when it cools off, it's going to basically create a vacuum or suction, and it's going to basically pop. It's basically going to pop that tab down. Once that tab is popped down, you have a fully resealed jar. So if you guys are basically canning, or if you guys are basically jarring up your own type of foods and stuff like that, always make sure that your jars are clean. I use this for coffees. This is pretty much all I do. And by the way, yes, I do have coffee. Not very much, but some. So if the jar is actually resealed, that will actually further extend the life expectancy of your food and keep it fresh even longer. Or whatever it is you're drinking, tea, coffee, something like that. I mean, something simple. So, oh, and by the way, before you start the procedure, make sure that you clean the inside of the lid too, along with the outside. The outside, maybe not so much, but the inside, absolutely. Because that's where your contents are going to be stored. So if you're going to basically put this up for long-term storage, if you're drinking like certain things, coffee, tea, whatever case may be, always, excuse me, always make sure to keep your contents completely sealed at all times until you're actually ready to use the contents inside the jar. So if and when you do, when you do open the lid, sometimes if the lid is on like really, really super tight, take your hand and smack the bottom of the jar, and that should help loosen it up. And then you can turn your lid just like that. So if you guys would like to know more information about how long ago I made this discovery, the link's in the description below. You guys can check that out at any given time. If this video does in fact help you guys out, be sure to hit that thumbs up, smash that heart button, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and get subscribed for more content. So therefore, oh, wait a minute. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Be sure to turn on your bell notifications so therefore you'll be able to get So therefore, you'll be able to stay up to date with all the news here on the channel. And as a bonus, I live stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And when you have your bell notifications turned on, you'll be notified each and every single time I get ready to live stream here on the channel. That being said, if you guys would like to participate in the chats, you guys can also do that too. Let me know what your thoughts are, and let's try to keep everything professional because I'm basically trying to make the best content that I possibly can. I haven't really had much time to get everything set up and ready to go, so I just had to think of something, and this is what I'm pretty much rolling with right now, guys. So, and also due to the fact that I smoke on my live stream, I should probably put an age restriction on my channel because I don't want to be a bad influence on all the younger ones that jump on here. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave it over here in the chats. My chats, I do have my chats open. They're on the left side of my screen. And I'm going to be paying attention to all the comments rolling through the chats. Like I said, let's make sure to keep everything professional. So therefore, that makes other people feel more comfortable being here on this channel as well. And I definitely want to thank you guys for also understanding my point of view, also understanding my perspective. But with that being said, that's how you go about resealing a jar. But when you do put your hot contents inside the jar, make sure your lid is on nice and tight, or not nice, not super tight, but just make sure that it's on nice and secure. So therefore, when you go to turn it upside down, nothing drips out. Set your jar down, let it cool, and as soon as you hear that pop, your jar has been resealed. That's how you can tell that you have a good lid and a decent jar. Well, not so much a decent jar, but your lid is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. And also, like I said, make sure that you keep it stored in a nice, cool place until you're ready to use it. Try not to let the contents inside sit too long because over a period of time, it could possibly cause certain things. Now, if you're storing coffee like this already made, you don't want to let that sit no more than about a week or two. Yeah, I wouldn't even say a week. I'd say probably about 4 or 5 days at best. But now if you're storing tea or something like that, make sure that, like I said, that your jar is sealed and keep it in a nice, cool area. I mean, you could basically put it in the fridge after you hear the pop. You can let it cool off about room temp, then put it in the fridge, and it will get cold. And with the lid still, with the jar being still sealed, I don't think you should have a problem with that. So, like I said, if you guys want to find out more information about it, I have it linked. Basically, it's kind of a short description, but I have it linked in the description below. I found this out a little while back. So, it's kind of right within that ballpark range. So, you don't want to let something like that sit too long because if you do, there's a good possibility that it could go bad even if the jar is sealed, it could still go bad. So just write down the date that you actually made whatever content you're putting inside of there. Put like a piece of masking tape around it, and just use like a Sharpie. Okay, this content. Okay, this content here was used for. I made it on this date at this time. Just pretty much try to eyeball it the best you can. Hello, Christina. So I'm basically going to make several different parts to this live stream. So, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming along with that soon. But, but for now, I'm just going to stick with today's content. I don't have any PSAs or anything today, guys, because I'm going to be doing those on the weekend. So, yeah, I'm pretty much making some changes to my channel. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything to that sort of nature, you can leave a comment in the chats or post a comment in the comment section, and I will definitely check that at the end of the live stream. Oh, thank you very much. I definitely do appreciate that, and I definitely do appreciate the love and support that you've actually shown to the channel. That also does go to help support the channel as well. And yes, I do have my coffee, extra leaded. Only without the 90 octane booster. And so, yeah, and as like I was saying earlier, probably going to consider putting an age restriction on my channel because I know there's a lot of youngsters out there who will probably see me smoking on my channel. So I think that would probably be best in my interest. So I'm not sure if you actually caught what I was saying at the very beginning, but this is turbo coffee. I like that. Actually, this is 118 octane, so I don't think I'll need to put a 90 octane booster in it. I don't call this coffee, I call this sludge. But anyway, I was basically telling whoever's out here watching this, if I was basically telling people how to reseal a jar. And if you happen to miss that, you can always go back and watch the live stream at the end of this here. So I pretty much go into detail with it. But it's pretty simple. It's pretty much straightforward. Oh. So I'm not sure if you know exactly how to reseal one of these type of jars, but if you don't know, I'll go ahead and explain this again. If you're looking to reseal one of these jars, always make sure that the inside of the jar is nice and clean. Always have, if you're putting coffee or tea, hot tea or something in there, make sure that you put it in at its hottest point. So then, therefore, when you put the lid back on it like this, just let it sit, and as soon as you hear the pop, as soon as that tab goes down, and you can actually tap it, and you can actually hear like a high tone to it. That lid is sealed. So if by chance you have a hard time opening the jar, take the palm of your hand and smack the bottom of the jar, and that should probably help pop. It should probably help pop that loose a little bit. So then, therefore, you won't have a hard time turning the cap and taking it off the jar. And something else I was telling somebody is if you do that, make sure that you put a piece of masking tape up, like usually right in the middle, and write down the date and time that you actually made that content. So therefore, down the road, if you happen to forget about it and you happen to see it, you open it up, oh my God, this is horrible. But usually if it's in a nice tight sealed jar, I don't think you'll have much of a problem with it. At best, I wouldn't recommend letting something like that sit on the shelf no longer than a week, roughly. I would probably say about 4, maybe 5 days at max. But to clean the jar, if there's something that's been sitting in there for a while, you can always dump it out and basically put your jar in boiling water. Therefore, you'll be able to sterilize the jar inside and out. But you might want to let your water cool before you put your hand in there to pull the jar out and dry it out. You know what I mean? So if you do have a jar that's got like this little pattern right here in the middle, and you hear that pop like that, and you're not even touching it, that's because your jar is actually sealing itself back to where it was. Because what that does is heat rises. Because okay, now say for instance you put water in the jar, right? Between the line at the top and the amount of air that's in there, what that'll do is that'll condense that air because it'll start to some of the fluid or some of the liquids inside of that will start to evaporate, and it will basically start to rise. And as it rises and as the jar cools, that'll actually take most of the cool air, push it down to the bottom. That creates a suction that pops that tab downwards. If your jar is completely sealed, nice and snug, when you hear that pop, that's because the cooler content is basically going towards the top of the water level or liquid level as the heat is rising. So therefore, you'll see basically a shift, and that will pop it down because all your cool air is basically going down from the very top of the jar, from the inside of the contents here. So the heat will go up, cool air will come down, and that's what causes the pop when it sets at room temp. How cool is that? So I'm basically going to make probably about 2 parts to this. But like I said, always make sure that the outside, well, not so much the outside, but the inside of the jar is nice and clean. I use this jar every day for my coffee. So it is what it is. But for the most part, it's not too bad. Hang on just a second. I'm going to take my headset off. I'll be right back. Just momentarily. And even if you're storing soups or something in here, always make sure that you put your contents in almost at its hottest point. So therefore, when it cools, oh, excuse me. Therefore, when it cools, like I said, always be sure to put the date, time, stuff like that on there. So therefore, I don't think you'll have a problem with that. I mean, like I said, everything's pretty much self forward. So I don't know if you, I know, right? I don't know if you was on my last live stream or not. I think you might have been. I was talking about my other computer and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that another time. So anyway, oh, that's fully charged. I'm going to go ahead and start a poll here, or actually, yeah, I'll start a poll. Hmm. Excuse me. Hmm. Here we go. All right. As a matter of fact, I've already got a poll started. I had to retype everything out because I kind of hit some of the wrong keys, but it's all good though. Fantastic. So I will definitely start making some more educational videos. I'm probably going to start doing that like next week. So I'm going to go ahead and try to finish out this whole week here, and then I'm just going to start educational stuff on the weekdays. But the weekends, if I hear anything about certain food recalls and stuff like that, I will definitely make PSA videos just pretty much on the weekends. But I've been kind of cutting back on gaming and stuff like that, blogging about certain games. But I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna start squeezing some of that back in there, so I can basically try to get myself a little bit more further ahead. I'm gonna contact Sis right quick and let her know that I'm on my live stream. I just sent her the message letting her know that I was live on my YouTube channel. So I don't know if she's gonna pop in or not, but if she doesn't, then I'll know something's up. Because usually when I do that and she doesn't reply back, that's usually because there's obviously something going on. But I will try to get a hold of her at the end of the live stream and see what's going on there. I mean, some things I prefer not to get too personally involved. Man, this jar's got a hole in it. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Yeah, yeah. That's she's been telling me that too. As a matter of fact, I got a text message about that. She said it was. I think she said it was something that he ate or drank. So if that's the case, that almost kind of sounds like food poisoning. And I know exactly how that feels. I've had that twice in my life, but not a pleasant feeling. And I always keep getting this notification from YouTube. But yeah, but my response back to that is I don't have to worry about my privacy because I don't really put too much of my personal life on here. I just basically make content. Just simple content creator. That's basically all I am. Oh, and by the way, TikTok is up and running. So I'm not sure if you know about that or not, but yeah, TikTok is still running. But they're saying that it could be, I don't know. I've watched a couple videos here and there, but I think those are probably old videos. But they're saying something like right after Sunday or something. I don't know if they meant like this past Sunday or this coming Sunday. So I'm gonna try to get to the specific parts of it and see where that's going. There is another page TikTok is actually thinking about running. Well, not thinking about it. They are, and they do have the app already out and about. It's called Red Note. I honestly don't suggest getting onto that app because a lot of that stuff's in Chinese. People can actually go live. What on Red Note? If there's an app that I would suggest, I would probably suggest Clapper because it's almost identical to TikTok. I mean, as soon as there for a little bit, they were saying that they were having a hard time going live. But last I knew, you had to have like 1,000 followers to go live. But now on Clapper, as soon as I set my account up, I was instantly able to go live. About the same as my YouTube channel. Because I don't know if there was something on TikTok's end to where I think it might have been on TikTok's end because there was something going on and people could not access, they couldn't even go live. That was something that was just brought up recently. So I don't know. It's just with TikTok, it's hard to tell. But that's kind of where I kind of sit back in the shadows and just watch what's going on around me. And I'm not sure if anybody's ever suggested this, but if you kind of kick back and observe, you'll get to know a lot more that way. But yeah, they were having some type of issue. And I think there might have been something that TikTok didn't even check through. Oh, whoa. Yeah, then that would be theft. And speaking of which, I had just made a discovery a few days ago that almost every single American has got their personal information sold on the deep web. So I would possibly check into that. So if you have like banking information and stuff like that on your phone, contact your bank. And if there's like a password or something that you got to access to get into your account, be sure to be sure to change your password effective immediately. So that right there will actually save you some time, heartache, and a lot of grief. But I mean, just kind of hearing about it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true because anybody can say anything online. Because then you got some people that'll sit there and they'll sit there and just continue to rattle on about certain things, and most of it, and they probably know that most of that shit's probably not even true. So TikTok, I just kind of sit back and I observe through the comments and stuff like that. I also watch other videos on there. I just don't stay in the comments all the time, but I'll watch the videos and I'll check through the comments, and God, some of those comments in there, it's just a doozy. And as a matter of fact, I normally don't talk political on here, but there's going to be a new law in effect to where anybody under 18 will not be allowed to be on social media. And then I do believe that's for all 50 states. So if there's minors, probably about 12, 13 years of age, their account's going to have to go bye-bye. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think that was shit. I don't even know if that law is passed yet. But if I happen to find out something more about that, I will definitely keep you in touch. I'll keep in touch with you. More than likely, chances are I'll probably put that on on the next live stream or so. But I'm just gonna have to figure out exactly when that law is going to be taking effect if it hasn't already. So, I mean, myself personally, I wouldn't even I would not even let my own kids be online right now. Not with, pardon my French, but not with all the shit that's going on now. No, I wouldn't even let them have a Facebook account. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't even let them have a phone, period. But if I were to add my kids to my plan, I would not have internet I would not have their phones connected to the internet. Not until they're at least 18. Because being that age, or anybody that's under 18, I'm pretty sure you probably know where I'm going with this. But it's hard to tell what these kids are doing nowadays. I mean, they get online, they'll sit there and they'll watch all types of movies and stuff on there. They'll buy things on there. That's Yeah. That's where I'd have to put my foot down and say no. I would not let none of my kids have access to the internet until they're 18 years of age or older. Because that right there will actually protect them. Because, you get all these predators on there that, yeah, that don't sit too well with me at all. And being a dad myself, no, I will not let my kids have internet. Now, if you look back at the old TVs that used to have the old knobs before they had the remote controls, there's certain channels that you could go back through and you could actually watch like adult films and stuff like that. Oh, no, 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 no. If I was going to have a TV in my house, I would make sure that is also V-chip compatible. And so with the V-chip, what that does, that actually blocks out adult content. It doesn't block it out completely, but it basically puts a security system on adult movies and stuff like that. So in order to be able to watch a movie, you'd actually have to put in your code to access that movie. So then when you shut the TV off and go turn it back on, that V chip, what that's going to do is that's basically going to push all the adult content to one side and leave it only open and accessible for the children's section. So anybody who's under 18 won't have access to adult movies. Like, for example, vampire movies, zombie movies, sci-fi movies, and stuff like that, to where it shows a lot of blood, gore, and stuff like that. That would not be accessible to any child to watch. But we all know that when they can make movies and stuff, they use like different types of props. It's not them actually getting hurt. It's the fact of them seeing that and being traumatized because of that. Oh, well, this person can do it. Why can they do it? And why can I not do it? Well, because for one, you're not of age. Two, I don't think we need to have this discussion. Not just yet, anyway. you know. But my kids, no, I wouldn't let them have access to that. I mean, myself personally, I don't really see a cause in that. But yeah, this law that's I don't know if it's already been passed or if it's sitting on a desk waiting to be signed into law. I don't know just yet, but I will definitely keep an eye out on that, and I'll definitely keep you posted if I hear something. But some people may say, well, that's not right that you're keeping adult movies and stuff from your kids. No. How I raise my kids is my business. I mean, there's some parents that'll let their kids sit there and watch porn all day long. Me, I'm the complete opposite. I will not let my kids watch any adult films. If they're under 18, nope. Educational, like National Geographic stuff like that, that's fine. But anything outside of that circle there, if it's not educational or so forth, I more than likely I'd have to frown on that. Action movies and stuff like that, where there's like people shooting zombies and stuff like that. No, I will not let my kids watch that. But honestly, would I be wrong for doing that? Because if there's, I mean, I'm not going to let my kids just sit back and watch a rated R movie. No, because some things actually do say viewer discretion is advised. And if I see something that's a little out there, like Zombieland and so forth, what's another one here? Nightmare on Elm Street. No, my kids won't be watching that. But yeah, you're right. The remote was the only thing that actually got modernized to the television. God, I remember the old floor model TVs. They didn't even have remotes to them until later, like late 70s, early 80s. Then they started coming out with the remote controls. But yeah, but then after that, uh, I wanted to say Sanyo or Magnavox. I think it was probably one of those two companies that came up with the V chip idea. I think it was Sanyo, maybe Magnavox. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that. But yeah, it is pretty interesting. But now my kids were to turn 18 and be like, Dad, I want to watch. You mind if I watch this? Well, normally I would say no in that case. But since tomorrow's going to be your birthday, I'll let you watch one movie, and then after tomorrow, You can pretty much watch any one of those you want. That's But myself personally, I would not let my kids under the age of 18 watch adult films. Now, if they wanted to watch the movie Speed, I'll have to go through and watch it myself. And if I deem that it's not suitable for somebody who's under the age of 18, I probably won't let them do it. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but then again, you never know. So it's always best to be ahead of the it's always best to be ahead of a situation before it becomes a potential problem. Because if they see stuff like that in school, or because they see something like that on TV, they're going to think, "Oh, well, I could do this too," you know? No. I mean, anything that's got some type of prop to where it looks like an explosive or something like that, no. But anyway, I digress. But it is what it is. Some families wouldn't have so much of a problem with it, but myself, no, I wouldn't let my kids watch anything like that. I mean, regardless if whatever the situation is. That's just me more on a personal note. Now, if my kids wanted somebody to come over and spend the night with them, I would actually have to get to know the I'd actually have to get to know the parents first before inviting somebody like that over. 'Cause something like that would probably take me a very long time to get used to. But now, if my kids were going to school and stuff like that, and they were straight A students, then yeah, I wouldn't mind. But if they got like a D or F or something like that on the report card, then no, because I'd be helping them also improve their grades. So then, therefore, they can actually graduate. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to lay the rules down, and most kids nowadays don't want to even go by half the rules you put down, even in the house. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but like I said, would I be wrong for doing that? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Well, I mean, I get that. I mean, basically, what I'm asking you is, do you think that would be harsh or just reasonable? Because if you think about it, kids nowadays, the reason why most of them act up in school is because they watch a lot of stuff on TV that they probably shouldn't. I'm inclined to agree. I'm going to go ahead and pin that comment to the very top. That is a very good point. And I think a lot of the parents are basically afraid to discipline their children, probably because they're probably going to go back to school and say, they're probably going to make a mountain out of a molehill, saying, "Oh yeah, my dad's beating me. My dad's doing this. My dad's doing that." No. But yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I think parents should basically take accountability for their child's actions because it's the parent's job to teach the child and also to correct the child, especially when they do wrong. Exactly. There's that ultra fine line between both. Far few and in between. I would probably say the best disciplinary action is to have them do the hardest chores in the house. And when they get tired of doing all the hardest chores in the house, there's either going to be fruitful results or there's still going to be that exact same existing issue. I mean, either way you look at it. I don't know, man. That's just my own personal opinion on that. But there's got to be some type of there's got to be some type of disciplinary action in the house. And I would say facing the right type of discipline would actually make that child stronger and actually get and they would actually get to know what they've done wrong. I guess I'm just a little too old school because today's generation weren't pretty much they weren't brought up the way we were. So I think instead of actually punishing the child, I think it would probably be best to punish the parents. I mean, I mean, shit. That's like driving a vehicle. If you drive down the street, you're on a cell phone and you're not even wearing a seatbelt. There's two tickets right there. It's not the passenger that's gonna get the ticket. It's the driver. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'll just leave it brief. Let me know if you agree with this comment here, the one I just posted. Because the way I see it, being a family man myself, sometimes you got to run the family like a business. And sometimes you got to let the family know that you're the CEO in charge. And you know, I mean, it's basically a full-time job. It's just something, and most parents, they don't grasp that concept. I'm not saying all parents. I'm saying there's a good vast majority of parents out there that don't grasp them. And also, good parenting also brings out the best potentials of that child. Oops. This is just pretty much the philosophies that I grew up with. I don't know if you grew up with the same thing, but to me personally, I believe it makes perfect sense. But just to be able to get that type of inspiration, you got to know somebody who actually has a family too. So, I mean, you learn a lot from different parents, but sometimes some choices may be a little bit more harsh than others. So I guess it would be the parents' responsibility to kind of balance out to kind of balance it out, so therefore it doesn't shift, or so therefore it doesn't lean and shift in one direction when it should be going straight. But like I said, parenting, there's a lot to it. having a family is like running a multi having a family is basically like running a business. If it's if there's a lot of good potential there for the parents to raise their child the right way, that's going to yield a lot of fruitful results. But now, if, say, for instance, if a parent decides to let their kid pretty much do whatever they want instead of taking punitive action where it's mostly necessary, then there's probably going to be a very slim chance of success, probably to right around a 0% chance. So either that child's going to basically grow up and learn a lot, or that kid's going to be in trouble quite a bit, or I should say a whole lot. But some kids today, I kind of feel sorry for them in a roundabout way, because there's some kids that are basically brought into this world they weren't asked to be brought. They didn't ask their parents to bring them in. But there's some kids that are brought into this world and basically abandoned by one or both parents. So it's people like that that give good parents like us a black eye, so to speak. And it kind of it kind of tarnishes our reputation as responsible parents. I don't know what your thought on that is, but I pretty much speak the truth. And as bad as it may sound, sad but true. and like I've told people before, two people can get into a relation. It takes two to make it, but it takes one to break it. Oh, yeah, that kind of brought back some memories. Oh, how well I know. And honestly, I think that's what I think that's what today's society needs to go back to, is pretty much the good old fashioned ass whooping. Because people from our generation, we grew up with something called common sense. Today's generation, not so much. But yes, I'm definitely going to keep that thought. I'm definitely going to keep that thought in mind. But yeah, but I'll post something else in the chats too. Oops. So basically, I'm agreeing with you the most. So yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Damn. If it wasn't the belts, it was. If it wasn't the belts, it was the Hot Wheel tracks or the wire fly swatter handles. Oh, boy, did those hurt. And these kids in today's generations, I'm glad you brought that up. Hold that thought just a second. I'm glad you brought that up because you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. That is that right there is the perfect example. If it was too small, you got it twice as hard. It had to be just the right length. And there was and there was absolutely well, some parents they would actually measure that, believe it or not, but most others, if it wasn't to their satisfactory, oh boy. That person's hell was awaiting. But that is that is definitely something I remembered growing up. And as much as I hate to say this, sometimes in roundabout way, I actually do kind of miss that. I don't I don't but that right there actually says quite a bit. That should accommodate that should accommodate for something or compensate for something. My bad. But yes, you're absolutely right. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Fantastic. That was about the most kick-ass comment. Oh, I don't know if you remember the old school Jacari paddles from back in the day. Do you remember those? That's hang on a second. I'm gonna basically type this. I'm basically gonna say this into my phone. Jacari paddle. Look familiar? I grew up with those. Oh, oh boy, they hurt when they got holes drilled in them. Oh my God. Okay, do you remember the old desktops that used to be able to lift up? How they were layered, how the wood was actually layered and glued and pressed together? I think that's what these were made out of. The exact same type of wood. But when they had drills holding them, you could just hear that whistle as it came whipping by. Oh my God. It, it was bad. It was it was definitely bad. Now the old stitching that they used to use for the baseball gloves, the old thick leather, the I can't think of the name of it, but they're used to hold the catcher's mitts together. Oh yeah, those hurt bad. And then at school, you actually had the ones that were like almost like a meter long, 3 feet, 3.5, something like that, about that thick. Holes drilled all the way through them, about 1 inch apart, looked like little diamond patterns. Same type of wood, but no, 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 no. I can't say the exact same type of wood. I think there was some that were made of, I'm wanting to say mahogany, and I think there was some that was made out of oak. Oh, yeah. Ouch is that's that's just putting it mildly. I think it was either European mahogany or European oak. Mm-mm. But yeah, those did not feel too good. Let's see if I can find an image on here to where it will show you the thickness of these type of paddles. And so far, I'm not seeing anything specifically. But those Jacari paddles, there's some that were there were some that were like thicker than others. About, I would say at least mm, about, I'd say right around about 3/4 of an inch. I would say probably about a little bit thicker than that, or about that exact same consistency. But now actually getting those made and having to cut them and glue them together and press them down, you actually had to use C clamps, the really big ones. But then again, you had to have like I think you had to have like a certain type of block of wood just to kind of keep in between like both both things that set down like this. You had to put like a block of wood on both sides just to tighten it down and to keep it pressed. And you had to wipe off all the excess. But there's some of them that you could actually that you could put some type of laminate coating on them. But the ones I got whipped by, they didn't have laminate coatings on them. But they're very easy to make. And this was and let's see here. There's two different there's actually quite a few different styles of this. You got this style here. Wait a minute. You got that right there. Oh, that's pine. That's pressed pine. And then you got the ones that got the like the oak finish to them. But those actually came with a bowl. And then you got the large wooden ones. Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that, oh no. See, you could tell the thickness of that one. That's pretty thick. Absolutely. I've actually had my fair share of those. And if the Jacari paddle wasn't like nearby, oh, I remember the old hardback books. Oh yeah, those hurt. Not as near as bad as the Jacari paddle though. But yeah, those those are real good attention getters. I guess you can pretty much say that's like from the FAFO generation. Oh my. There's been a couple times I had to do that. And sometimes even worse, standing straight up. Oh yeah. Believe me, I've had my fair share. But anyway, well, it is past 9:30, and usually I usually do get off my live stream about that time. So I will be definitely I will definitely be live streaming again this coming Thursday. Um, Same place, same time, obviously same studio. And for most of you guys who haven't got a chance to get subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to see more exclusive content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. And be sure to turn on the bell notifications so therefore you won't miss out with the news that I provide here on the channel. And just to kind of let you guys know, I don't edit any of my videos. I do, in fact, live stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 8 o'clock p.m. to 8 to about not 8 o'clock. I live stream from 8 o'clock p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes my videos may be a little bit longer than 9:30. So if you guys would like to see more content like that, uh, let me know in the chats or let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. It is definitely a pleasure to have each and every single one of you here. And for those of you who are viewing my channel and also viewing the live stream, I definitely want to thank you guys as well. Um, for Thursday's night's live stream, if this is your first time getting a chance to watch my live stream here on the channel, you guys can let me know that you guys are here. Let me know in the comments. And until next time, I definitely want to thank each and every single one of you for coming out and hanging out here with me on the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay sharp, stay frosty, and most of all, stay vigilant. Until next time, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.